Alright, welcome back to Slay 2, so it's Bentley all alone for now.
It took a sleepless week of data crunching, but I eventually tracked down
Also,
the
nice touch
location
that
of
they
my
changed the
friends,
logo for the
tucked away in the
transitions.
mysterious powers of
Not just that,
God.
here, you'll see in a second.
At the moment,
Oh,
they're
it's
the
time to go to
unwilling guests of
Transylvania.
Interpol's most renowned prison warden, the
It's
Contessa.
time to break the asylum.
While still a criminal psychology student, she entered into a whirlwind romance and married a wealthy aristocrat. Sadly, the union was short-lived, as the general suspiciously died.
I can't imagine what happened.
He died
Like
in
I
suspicious
said,
death.
Jova, she's a literal Black Widow.
Put her education
Yes.
and newly acquired estate
And now she's
to
dressing like Cruella
work by
DeVille.
opening a criminal rehabilitation center.
So yeah,
Pioneering use of
she's
hypnotherapy
the
has
classic
produced
stereotype
some good
of
results,
evil
and
psychologist because
subsequently
that's
earned her a
lovely.
prominent
And
position within Interpol.
because this war fucking sucks, Interpol rewarded her.
My friends are locked
Yep,
up
she is one of the
somewhere in
highest-ranking
clinic.
Interpol agents there is.
Slated for the Contessa's Good Samaritan brainwash.
If only we had a furry version of Chun-Li to
They'll
help
be
us.
working a 9 to 5
This
job
time
selling
it's
shoes.
personal.
And I'll be out two best friends.
Aww. Bentley
Oh.
saves the gang in Jailbreak.
Jailbreak. And
That's
oh
like
boy,
the name of. That's like the name of episodes of half of cartoons ever.
And yeah,
What
TV
is
Tropes is also
Jailbreak
not
gonna
joking
do?
about this. This set of levels involving the Contessa are the toughest one in the entire game. Because at least for this portion, you're controlling only Bentley, and so basically you have to completely avoid the normal shtick that you will do in the overworld with Sly, and you have to do these specific type of missions that are also difficult on their own, because like I said, Bentley is not super agile.
so one thing you have to worry about the Contessa, because she's part spider, she's a lot more agile and able to go a lot of places, which means you'll have to be careful around her.
But yeah, so far it's actually pretty normal, because you only have to track down her conversation, because she loves to talk to herself, of course.
As all spiders do, I'm sure.
Might even learn where she's locked up Sly and Murray.
I mean, Spider-Man loves to monologue a lot, so
I guess.
why not?
Alright, let's try to...
So I
There we
guess that
go.
makes her Spider Cop.
Falling apart. Spy shipments have overstocked. I never would have joined if I'd known.
Oh, look at that,
Well,
she's also a double agent working for the Claw Gang. How curious.
Sure would be a shame if the authorities figured out about that. That one of their own is literally a member of the Claw Gang.
They'll see it my way soon enough.
Huh.
You know what this also means, guys? The fact that Carmelita really is the only honest cop so far in this fucking world.
They keep sending me criminals and I keep making money. How come no one ever thought of this before?
So when does she start saying I played the stinking city like a harp from hell?
I'm a genius.
Close enough.
If only I had more spice to help me with the hypnosis.
Oh, great, she also uses drugs to roofie her patients.
Yes, don't you see? She she redeems them. She rehabilitates
Sure.
them.
Murray. Yes, Murray. He'll be the first to break. I should spend a few sessions probing that feeble mind. I can only imagine the wealth that gang has.
Well, it's a bit hilarious in hindsight, but comes to Sly 3, she's not really joking. The Cooper family has amassed an actual wealth, but where it is and how to find it, that's what the third game is for.
How much do you think we should laugh at her by the fourth one, too?
Such a complex and rebellious mind. A month or two in the hole should
The,
break
the
his
whole,
spirit.
excuse me.
I'll admit, Contessa's probably my favorite of the Claw gangs to unravel here and there because she is very, intricate, let's say.
It's all also the timing. Again, this is so far the darkest hour of the team, so this thing never happened in the first game, so the balance is completely set off, and you need to work with what you have.
She's no healthcare
Nope,
professional.
not at all.
Why, that's the most heinous crime I've ever heard of. Putting inmates into hypnosis so they'll tell her where they've stashed their loot.
I'm yelling this out to myself for reasons.
Thieves at the same time.
But yeah, it pretty much is a heinous crime here and there.
So yeah, priorities overall, break Sly first. He's the one that's more agile and can get shit done faster. Bentley, please. Plenty, please. Stop. The idle animations are a bit out of control.
But yeah, Contessa is actually a pretty interesting character all in. She is literally the police force, the underworld, and pretty much a thief in and of herself, all meshed into one. She uses her 4 days Interpol to capture other criminals, and eventually quote-unquote rehabilitate them, aka brainwash them to serve her, while also breaking their minds so that she can steal their own valuables, thus putting her at the top of the game.
Alright, as Bentley suggested, it's time for some hacking. By doing that, he will be able to use the multimodal reflection sorting, I will use that, a joke, in order to speed up the actual train car that's roaming around this lovely place, and use it as a bullet to break the hole where Sly is in.
Nothing like a good computer hack.
I know, right? Compared to the first game, the hacking minigame is much, much better. It's transformed into a proper shooting section, with an actual decent health bar and shooting controls.
I should move the right analog stick in the direction I want to unleash my hacker code.
There we go.
Of course.
By using both analog sticks at the same time, I'll be
Yeah, thanks to the combination of the control. The controls are very easy and smooth and allows you to do precise movement with an easy intuition for them. That's pretty cool.
The train should be picking up speed.
Alright, next terminal, because there are 6 in total. Also, yeah, doesn't help that the guards here tend to be a bit more, numerous in places compared to the previous overworlds. So you need to be careful. It's not even a case of similar to Dimitri, where we're only a type, certain types, and then later on become more numerous. No, we start immediately to be a lot here. Also, a nice touch is that if you have more than one hacking section to do, the music tends to get speed up a bit in later sections to reflect that you're progressing through it. So that's pretty cool. And hey, it's also another showcase the fact that Peter McCollum can multitask.
Wait, did you say Peter Cullen?
Peter McCollum, Dweebs. Sorry, Jova, the composer.
Yeah, because you said Peter Cullen there for a bit.
No, I might have cut out for you.
Probably.
Well, yeah, it's still a similar name anyway.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Optimus Prime composing this score.
Isn't Soundwave the one that has a cassette in it?
Yes.
I guess it's more fitting then for that.
Good old hacking here. And by that we mean
again,
it's
a classic 90s idea of how hacking works. Just slam your fist into the keyboard, and then magically you will have an avatar inside cyberspace that will do cool things.
So then Shiro must be a master hacker.
Of course.
It makes sense.
I mean, Shadow the Hedgehog's clearly the best.
I really need to show you, Shiro, the actual movie Hackers.
Oh, the Angelina.
Yeah,
so
the Angelina. It has Angelina Jolie, where she was like 18, so she's almost recognizable. There's also basically a built-in commercial for Wipeout, the PS1 video game. There's Matt Lillard playing a stoned hacker DJ, and it's glorious.
Well, oh my god, and he also plays Shaggy. Coincidence?
Yeah. If I recall correctly, Freddie Prinze Jr. is also in that, because, those two cannot go separate.
Yeah, seriously, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard, you'd think they were joined at the hip at this point.
There we go.
I mean, heck, Shaggy and Fred also apparently got to meet Tifa Lockhart at some point.
Just 2 more
Sure.
criminals.
Hey, it did happen, as Pedro can attest to.
Oh, you're talking about she's all that. Alright.
Yeah. Actually, a Scooby-Doo and Final Fantasy VII crossover.
Never.
No,
The only major
I can't really
the only
do
major
that.
crossovers that we had was the wrestling one, the supernatural one, and the one with the Batman the animated series, and I think also Brave and the Bold.
And Wizard of Oz.
The supernatural one was
Wait,
a ride.
what?
There was a Wizard of Oz Tom and Jerry movie where they
No,
interacted with the
Pedro, I'm
characters from
talking
the
about
movie.
I was talking about Scooby-Doo, Pedro.
Well, but there was. But whatever. The point is.
Well, okay, to be fair to you, Scooby-Doo has crossed over with a lot of people thanks to shows like...
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about Tom and Jerry. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Only one to go.
I agree with you there. My point is, like, well, Scooby-Doo has crossed over with a lot more than you think, especially with the newer version of...
The more hilarious part is that the supernatural crossover was kind of an idea of a supernatural, team behind the team behind Supernatural, and it basically starts there by having the main guys actually be sucked into a Scooby-Doo episode. So that's pretty cool.
Also, as of this point, Scooby-Doo has crossed over with Urkel as well. Yes, that happened.
So what did Jaluia White start in?
He was Urkel.
But wait, did they add like a crossover with Family Matters?
Yes!
Huh.
It was interesting. It was one of Urkel's more sporadic schemes. This one involving a robot version of him that went insane.
I mean, it can be more frightening than the Halloween special with a puppet.
Oh, God.
To talk about this for a brief moment, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
those sections seem fine, but audio-wise, they're very annoying.
But in terms of music or the sound effects?
The sound effects.
Ah, okay. Also
Just a
Bentley died.
continuous noise.
I can tell you this, on that front they will not improve for you in the next couple of games or so, just to
Right.
warn you.
For Sly to escape. Unless I take those guys out with my RC.
At least they're gone for a moment.
And it's time for our RC Chopper section where you need to, there you go, both kill the guards and destroy radio towers, if I recall correctly.
Having fun?
Well,
Totally.
clearly the time of his life.
And he's never felt this way before.
I guess if he'll go down hammy and fighting.
Again, this is another occasion where, similar to the India episodes, with the RC Chopper, you cannot attack the missiles incoming, so you need to move circularly in order to dodge them. But this time it's a lot more.
That does it. The motion sensor is offline.
All right, and conveniently, Sly manages to get out with his costume and the cane. Yeah, this is never brought up.
How I missed that sensuous voice of yours.
Save the jocular
Aww.
comments for later. Do you see that hook above the train?
Yeah?
It's your only means of escape. Jump and hit the circle button to grab hold. Then swing onto the back of the train. I've already established a safe house and downloaded its GPS coordinates into your binocucom. We'll rendezvous there.
Wow, you've really thought of everything.
Don't I
He
always?
kind of had to
Yeah,
for this
you do.
circumstance.
Thanks for busting me out.
Oh, well, you know the old saying, if you can't count on a friend to bust you out of jail, what kind of a friend are you?
There's a lot of nuance.
Oh, he
to
called
that.
him the code with the code name. That's
Sorry.
cute.
Sorry, but no.
Well, are you saying you wouldn't bust your friends out of jail, Pedro?
Well, there are other ways though.
Really?
Do tell.
Yes.
Maybe not get caught first.
Yeah, there's that too.
Can't go to jail if you blow up a prison.
Alright, we managed to rescue Sly, but we need to formulate now proper plan. Because Murray's still inside.
Here's the situation. I've done some deep database crunching and figured out that Murray is doing time in cell block D. Getting him out is going to be tough. As you know, he's not very light on his feet. First, we'll need to get Murray into an isolation cell away from the other inmates. Second, I'll need you to get a sample of the Contessa's encryption algorithm. Don't worry, I'll explain later.
Yeah, thank you.
Presentation
Third,
skills
you'll
are
need to
second.
pocket a few keys from the Contessa, but watch out for her pack of bodyguards. And fourth, you'll have to deactivate her giant attack robot.
That's not really.
No, really,
Like
Sly,
every
I'm
person
serious.
should have, a giant attack robot.
It's not really a giant mechanical robot. Come on,
It
Bentley.
just looks like a water tower.
No, whatever.
Now, once you've
I
pulled
think
off
Bentley's a
all these
little
jobs,
still a bit
you'll get
touched
ready
in
to
the
make a
head
play
from
for
his.
the
Didn't sleep for 1 week, so... Alright. First of all, let me get the... If I recall correctly, let me get the... I collected all the bottles in the meantime, so let me get, in the meantime, the skill from the safe.
You need an IQ of at least 140 to figure this one out. That Contessa is smarter than I thought. I believe the code is 248.
There we go.
Plot twist, it was wrong.
No, thankfully no. This is mildly useful. It helps you with tossing items all over a longer distance.
Long toss move.
That's also another thing. Compared to the previous game here, when you get a power-up, Bentley doesn't explain to you what it does. It's weird.
It's like, yeah, you got a power up, you figure it out, you lazy.
Now, to be fair, the select menu screen tells you immediately what it is. It just feels weird compared to what happened in the previous game.
Sly, those giant pipes under the bridge feed power to the prison's security systems. I'll need to cut the connection to free Murray.
Sounds like a plan. What do you need me for?
As you know,
As
the
you
bridge
know.
is heavily guarded.
I hear you. You like a
Everyone's
little protection
favorite.
while you place the bombs.
That's correct.
Love to help out, but there's nowhere to hide on the bridge. We're totally exposed.
That's true. To fool the guards, you'll need to break those statues and take their
Excuse me.
I pose like a statue. The guards walk on by, then...
I'm pretty sure Sly looked a bit different than the statues.
That's also correct.
Oh,
It'll be similar enough.
the guy voicing Bentley, he was... This is like the only role he's had.
I already
but,
told this in the
also-
first game, Dweebs. His last major role was in 2013 as extra voices for Lightning Returns.
Well,
Nothing like that game to destroy a man's career.
I mean, to be fair, if I recall correctly, there was no other major role in his career. He did stuff, but there was no other major role in his career, and he was affectionate to this. So unless someone continues the franchise in some capacity, I'm pretty sure he doesn't really care.
yeah, I think the Sly series, for the most part, generally just tends to use VAs that are generally just one and done.
Yeah, I can tell you this, Dweebs, the fourth game actually employs, Thieves in Time employs more known voice actors like Steve Blum, Yuri Lowenthal, and Sam Riegel. So there's that.
Okay.
There we go. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you also have to be careful in this particular overworld because some of the statues can actually be a disguise for the wolf-like enemies, and they can immediately attack you on sight.
Goody.
Again, to keep in theme with the creepy, ominous, oppressive Transylvanian look, the guards here are mostly wolves.
All set. I'm moving to the
It's actually kind of interesting that they didn't make the Contessa bat when you get down to it.
No, the bats are some of our minions. The minions are our bats, wolves, and the vultures, because, you know, ominous, creepy stuff.
At least they didn't make her a vampire back.
Not just that. Also, the Sucker Punch really love Disney's Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we get right down to...
just
Well,
a statue, nothing to see here. God, oops.
well,
That didn't work.
Well, it actually does make sense too, considering Ghost of Tsushima kind of also has that angle of, you know, a guy who goes on a loner against the people of Japan when nobody else is looking out for them. So it actually does have that angle.
Like of an actual take on Robin Hood. Gotta be honest, I did some minor research because, truth be told, the Tsushima events are something that media haven't talked a lot. So if you're not really versed into normal history of Japan, you are not that knowledgeable unless you watched Bill Hurst's video and you know the passing line, the one goes try to invade but die in a tornado. But there was apparently a manga line going on around the same time the game was in development. So they also talked a romanticized version of that, just instead of having the classic more manga tropes, having a group of friends having to deal with the Mongolian invasion, rather than just being, you know, a lone wolf with some allies on his side. But to be fair, it's not a thing that, you know, the two things are more of a friendly rivalry than anything. So there's that. I gotta be honest, I don't know much about that manga line anyway, so...
But of course.
Well, as I was mentioning to Pedro while I was streaming the game, Tsushima still keeps some elements from this game as well. For example, when Jin has to formulate some plans, he will need to get up on a high spot, visualize the horizon, and indicate some key points and say, oh, we will need to do this in this particular point, here, and there, because it will cut the enemy supplies.
Well, yeah,
and...
when you get right down to it, the Huacha bit, where you're trying to protect Goro's ship, it's basically the same thing as the turret stuff in this game, when you get right down to it. So, yeah.
Again, the thing that I said, the fact that pretty much after this particular game, Sucker Punch found a formula that was very comfortable for them and basically stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, still nothing to see here. Seriously, how is that disguising? Yeah, as you can imagine, this is actually one of the more tedious missions because it is technically an escort mission with Bentley, but basically you might as well just, you know, go out and brawl because you need to defeat the guards anyway. So, and unfortunately, this guy's still in a point where if he defeats, he takes down a gun from behind, the others will hear him. So that's not good. Oh my God, are you not done yet?
It all takes a lot of finesse.
And explosives.
Mm-hmm. And those take time.
Also, Sly is determining the expression while he's on the statue pose. Again, there's also an attention to detail, which is pretty cute. Another thing that I also noticed, I forgot if I mentioned already, but when characters are talking, even on the overworld map and everything, there is actual mouth movement, even though it's obviously not lip-synced at all because, you know, PS2 era, the more janky movements and everything. But it's pretty cool that the characters actually do have, you know, mouth movement in the overworld, but it could have been so easily to just not do it to save time and not fuck up lines of coding.
Uh-huh.
It also helps how each character is created in how to be very expressive, not just for the face, but like he said, Sly's tail animation. I get the idea that costed a lot to make sure it was perfected.
I'm sure that won't get anyone's attention.
Well, that's the idea. They need to cut the supply line. Anyway, next mission. It's time to have it's time to have Murray get isolated. So, Thieves, you tend to be a bit expert. Well, not the expert, but you have an idea on how Prison Break type of stories work. What's the best thing to do to get isolated?
Act like an annoying shithead.
Precisely. That's what Murray needs to do.
Also, I love how, of course, since we're in Transylvania, modern or not, they still have to have old-fashioned antique cars
Gothic
to set in the
castles,
Gothic
yes.
setting.
It will get even better in the next episodes, actually. Mario! Oh wait, wrong game.
Huh? Sly? Where are you?
Over here, in the back wall.
Sly! Oh, I'm so glad to see you. They've been
Why are you
forcing me
talking to
eat
the air
meals
vents?
covered in spice.
Oh shit,
And
they've
I'm
been force
feeling
feeding him
kinda
spice.
strange. You gotta get me out of here.
No problem. Bentley seems to have found a weakness in the solitary confinement cell. If you can get in a big enough fight, the guards will throw you in there. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience.
If you say so. I suppose a powerful force like the
Oh,
Murray could take
I thought
down
the aim of
50
this mission
foes.
was to do
If I
more
had to.
Excellent.
controversial
You beat the
stuff.
snot out of
No,
50
you
this time,
you need to beat the
I
shit
will
out of
take
everyone,
yours.
so you will be granted your personal access to isolation. Again, as Murray said, beat 50 people. Oh, it's also a cute thing that we actually have a gym. And yes, this place is actually kind of fun because it actually has built-in contraptions and even a counter for how many people you kill for some reason. I don't want to know the logistics. I really don't want to know what we do on Friday nights here.
Is this a prison-wide competition?
They're killing the inmates.
Oh no.
It's blood sport. Oh god.
But to be fair, this also goes basically to the advantage of a player because you can do different stuff here. Chug away weights towards the prisoners, throw them into the spikes. If I recall correctly, the central button also activates a ring of fire for some reason. The only thing that you can't do is to get in the corners because we're protected by laser sentries. It's kind of like Robot Wars in a way. So we're basically on the angles and you cannot go there.
I was gonna say robots. Although I'm guessing you're referring to a different.
No, I'm talking about the actual. Well, okay, the competitions for whatever it was actually called.
Because we have a British show round here called Robot Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's basically robots in an arena fighting each other. And
Yeah, it's actually that, Lives.
Yeah.
My country actually broadcasted it a lot, and it was treated like a kind of wrestling match, essentially.
Did you have your own version?
No. It was basically the American or English version, basically with a different commentator on it.
Oh, you didn't have the UK version.
No, well, it might have been Dweebs, I just don't know.
Alas.
To give you an idea, Dweebs, the robot that I remember the most, we had one of the better kill streak, not the most, but he's still most of them, was Hypnodisc.
Yeah, that's definitely Robot Wars UK.
Basically, this thing had a circular buzzsaw on top of it, shaped like a Hypnodisc, of course, and this thing tore apart so many victims. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Mainly the ones I remember the most are the house robots, like the kilowatts.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember one. I remember there was like one particular match where one robot did manage to give a tough time to the corner robots, but it was actually very rare because those were actually constructed to actually arbiter the matches.
There was one match where the match was so boring, the crowd got more excited about one of the house robots, Sergeant Bash, going after the referee bots.
Murray literally killed that guy with lasers. Jesus Christ. But yeah, speaking of,
antisocial enough.
You gonna throw me in solitary?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, just make. Mate, you haven't gone far enough. Make disparaging comments about their mom, their wife, or something.
Anyway.
I fart in your general direction.
Anyways.
Yes. I farted in your mom's face.
Speaking of robot tournaments, I don't know if I was watching it with dudes, but if I recall correctly, I actually saw one where they actually did manage to arm a robot with guns, actually.
Anyway.
I don't think it was our version.
Anyway, tune in next time where we manage to actually get Murray also bust out of the jail. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.